I saw a lot of people at the venue wearing black and black shirt outfits, having a AAA badge, walkie-talkies, radios, all of that, and they were calling the shots.
Events is all about throughput. If you can live the event before the event happens, that is where you minimize the risk.
I had no job before I quit. I knew I want to continue in live events. I knew I'm going to do concerts and festivals for my life, but I didn't know what I'm going to do after quitting.
The problem that probably will happen in India is the government steps into it, the rent seeking will start.
Production is the team that brings method to madness, and they kind of sort everybody else's chaos.
Yeah. I always, for some reason, was very fascinated towards live events, live concerts, music festivals.
Welcome to another podcast of Down the Rabbit Hole. Today we have two gents, Mihir and Vinay with us, who are going to take us through how the production and the operation works in live events and corporate events simultaneously. Both the gentlemen are super talented and they've brought so much of technology into the system and created so many processes all across their journey, whether it was Viscrowd, whether it was Percept and other organizations. And today we have with us Mihir. Mihir works in Meta and is one of the most sought technical producer in Meta, and all the events that fabulous and seamless events that you see for Meta are all Mihir's babies. And we have Vinay. Vinay works in District. District is one of the biggest live events. They do a lot of concerts and all, and he also comes from Percept and the lineage of working on biggest of the events like Sunburn and all. So let's start. We'll start with Mihir from you. If you can just take us through what brought you into this industry and how events started, where you started, and how has been the journey so far.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks Naveen and Vishal for having me and Vinay both here. It's a great opportunity for us to talk about a subject that we are so passionate about and have spent so much of our career doing this. I would say I joined events in a way that was not intentional. I started off thinking I would finish my graduation and go into the standard MBAs and stuff like that. But I very quickly realized academics was not my strong suit. And I didn't make it to any of the CAT and CAT and all of those kind of exams. And hence I thought, what's an alternative? And I used to live in a hostel where my roommate was a person who worked at a model coordination agency. And on one Saturday evening, randomly, he was heading out to an event that his company was organizing. And he said, "Mir, if you're not doing anything, come along." So I just tagged along with him. And they were doing some fashion show for one of their clients. And I went there to see what's going on. And I saw a lot of people at the venue wearing black and black shirt outfits, having a AAA badge, walkie-talkies, radios, all of that. And they were calling the shots. So when I came back home, I asked him that, who are these people? Like, what's their job role? How do you get them? And he told me that they come from an event management company. That was really the first time I even had heard a concept called an event management company. I didn't even know event management companies existed before that. So I felt like that's something that I would love to do. And hence I did some more R&D to figure out, are there educational institutions that I can go sign up to study this? And then I did my post-graduation diploma in event management at NIEM, National Institute of Event Management. While I was doing that, I was selected as an intern on the first Indian Idol that happened, that was being done by 360 Degrees back then, a Times of India group company. So I did a 6-month internship with them. Then I went to a company full-time with called Grips Pro Events, a very small 10-member company. I spent about 4 years there learning my basics and foundations. Then I went to Viscrowd, which was really the turning point and a very important milestone in my personal career and a dream job, I would say. Spent about 10 years there at Viscrowd. And in those 10 years, I went to Percept 3 months in between. That's when I also met Vinay.
Cross paths there.
Yeah, we produced a couple of events together, and I did 3 months at Percept, went back to Viscrowd, did the remainder of my 10 years. And then in 2018, I joined Meta, or Facebook back then, as a technical producer, and I've been here ever since. So that's a little about how events have panned out for me and how I kind of jumped into it very not intentionally.
So you're one of the very few professionals that I have met so far in the events industry who somehow chose at the start of the career without working anywhere else
Right.
to be in events. And I think you had a similar.
Absolutely, yeah. Even with me,
so-
they're very similar.
So maybe you can start with your.
Yeah, for sure. So for me, along with my junior college, I always, for some reason, was very fascinated towards live events, live concerts, music festivals. I used to travel a lot as a child abroad to attend these concerts and festivals because back in the days, there was only DNA doing a couple of rock gigs around Bangalore and very, very handpicked. So I always was wanting to get into that industry, understand more about that industry, but wasn't aware of where to start, right? And thankfully, along with my junior college, just for the kick of it, I started my undergrad course at EMDI. And from there, again, as Mihir Bhai, I got picked up for Indian Idol by Fremantle at that time, was doing it. And I worked there for a couple of months as an intern. From there, I got absorbed into Percept. And Percept was... Percept was basically my first job. I was the first employee. Like my first employer was Percept. Before that, I was only interning. And I stuck around there. So my overall, I was there for 9 years, I guess, in Percept. In between, I took a 1-year break. After my first 4 years of Percept, I took a break thinking that no, I don't think I was going in the right direction, or I wasn't very convinced if corporate events was what I wanted to do, because at that time there was no Sunburn. Sunburn was still in the books, and Percival was hardly doing any concerts at that time. So I was primarily doing weddings and corporate events for the first couple of years. The year I quit and I joined my dad. He is an interior designer and a contractor. So for me, it was always production, and this was a very similar kind of a job role, because what I used to say when I started working with him, for him, a project is an event, right? So for us, an event gets over, a turnaround period is for like 4 months. For him, that project will go on for 4 years. It's practically, if you go to see, it's the same thing, but what do we do temporarily, he does permanently. So right from electrician to carpenters to plumbers to painters, over here we are dealing with the same people, but in a different format and a different way. So that 1 year, I realized that I don't have that patience, number one, that I can work on one event for 5 years. That is not happening with me. And my dad at that time gave me that push that no, if you're not interested in this and if you're not having fun, go back, do what you like. Right? Like don't force yourself down into this because you're not earning well. So going back into Percept, and that is the time when Sunburn just started kicking off, and then then there was no looking back, right? So then I got into the special events department of Sunburn, and I started of Percept, which was running Sunburn, and then I started doing that 7, 8, 9 years, and then I realized that now it's time for a career move to understand what is outside, right? For me, I was just becoming very, very comfortable in that zone where I was at Percept, and I wanted to break out of it and experience what is there outside. I had no job before I quit Percept. I didn't know what I was wanting to do. I knew I want to continue in live events. I knew I'm going to do concerts and festivals for my life, but I didn't know what I'm going to do after quitting. So I just quit, and as soon as I quit, I got a few breaks of doing a couple of small boutique music festivals for a few friends who were the investors, right? And it gave me like a confidence boost. At that same time, there was a merger between Universal Music and EVC. They had invested in that music festival that used to happen at Ambi Valley. So I became a consultant with them for a few years. I produced EVC for them. Then Universal decided to part ways. That's the time when even I parted way, and EVC actually took a pause at that time. Post that, then I again started freelancing. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was happy, and I was doing a lot of big shows under the freelance belt also. It wasn't that I was doing small shows or I wasn't there in the scene. I was always there around in the scene, and somewhere around that time itself, I did a couple of freelance shows for Book My Show also, and they found me really productive, and I started working with them. I worked with them when they had just about started their live event division for a couple of years. I worked there for around 4 years. And then in 2020 is when I started my own company called Trailblaze Productions. We were again a boutique production agency, which was, it was a more of a B2B kind of a scenario where we were becoming the production arm and the planners for all the new promoters who were coming up wanting to do concerts and festivals, right? Not only that, and also the biggies, like we were doing a lot of work with District also, we were doing a lot of work with other big players in the market also. And then while we were doing this, what we realized earlier this year was that, it was eventually my especially the vision that I had and the kida that I had to do the biggest shows in the country and the biggest festivals in the country. I realized that till the time I don't do it myself, I don't think I'll be able to get where I want to get to, and to have those kind of investments to do that kind of events was not that easy a task, right? So when District happened and when that job offer came in, we just thought that this is the right time to make that shift because this is going to go big. So that's when in early this year is when I joined into District as their production director, and now I'm leading the production for all their concerts, events, live events, theatricals, a lot of stuff. Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff with them. Yeah.
Just one thing I want was both of you come from a very hands-on production, and you still do that.
Yeah.
Now that you've achieved so much in your life, both of you have done very well. It's easy to find meaning in what you do, right? But back then, when you said you got into events, and then production side of it, which to me almost sounds like a blue-collar part of the entire events ecosystem.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
What made you decide that you'll stick to production and not
the marketing side or not?
CS, customer service, creative, whatever, the number of
Correct.
facets to it.
Yeah.
What made you stick to production? You should say, हाँ यही करना है मेरे को, and this is what I want to stick with.
I can go first.
And also, when you are defining and telling, if you can just elaborate on what does production and operation mean in a corporate scenario and in
Absolutely.
a live event scenario.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, I think for me, I figured out very early that production is the team that brings method to madness in a way, and they kind of sort everybody else's chaos by being the planners or by being the organized team that they should be. And I am very much like that in my own individual life outside of work. Okay. Generally, I am extremely planned and organized. So I thought that the values and the qualities that I have in my personal space, if that can be applied into my professional career and then help me excel, that might be a great combo. And hence, I didn't want to try and go to different verticals within event management to see whether this works or not. Yeah. And very earlier on, when I was at the Grips Pro events, which is literally the first official job that I had, that was a very small company with literally 8 people. So everybody had to do everything. There was no compartments or departments at creative will do this, copy will write something, and operations will go and execute. You as an employee of that company are supposed to go for a brief, come back to do presentation, go back to present, send an invoice, get an okay, get a PO, get an invoice, get an event done, send photos and write a report, all of it. So that gave me a good overview of what does it entail to be in these different verticals, and that let me decide that I want to just go deep into the production side of it and just follow that as a career line.
Excellent. So for me, it was just that, I always thought that production is the common link between all other departments, right? Everybody is so interdependent on production for the final product to see on ground, right? So that gave me a different kind of a high where, हाँ भाई इसको तो अपना काम sort कराना है तो मेरे पास आना ही है. It was like every department has to come to me to get their work sorted. So that was like a high I get back in the days. And being on ground, being that cool one on ground and spending those extra hours on ground and being awake all night and working. It just give me a high. It just used to give me
very different days. So for him, it was more about being planned and yours about more being...
Yeah, the cool one.
But according to me, in a way, I think so production and operation is a very, very important aspect. One is if you need to have an understanding about the events, that is where you understand actually events. Because anyone can sell and come, but if it is not executed well, the client will not come back to you again. So it's like the mouth and the tail, but both have to exist together. Yeah. So that is very important. My journey also, I started with what I was into servicing. Then because the company that I used to work was, they didn't have production, I got into the production. And over there, I got into a lot of creative process. I had worked on designing stages on Coral also.
Correct.
then I went to a company where processes were very strong. So I learned processes. Then I came to Viscraft, where I was hired as a servicing guy for Microsoft. Then my skills were little more towards operations and productions. I put the systems in place. They said, "Le, tu production hi kar le aap." Then for 1.5 years, I was there. So I made a very big team in Delhi. And that is where again I came back to services.
Yeah.
I think so for me as a personal, matlab, because I went to all the stations and came back, then my next was to start something on my own, because I knew all the things. So
Absolutely.
though I wanted to, and I'm a very similar to you only, कि I am into very details, कि चाय भी आ रही है तो ऐसे होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा. It has to be like that in house also. मतलब कपड़े हैं तो ऐसे लगे होंगे. तो it's like लोग OCD बोलते हैं कि अगर शर्ट पहन रहे हो तो बिना प्रेस के नहीं पहनोगे. तो लोग OCD बोलते हैं, but I was built like that. But somehow I didn't go into details. So I went into details where today no one can make a fool of me कि sound क्या है, light क्या है, video क्या है. But आप ये पूछोगे ये light कौन सी है, वो मैं नहीं बता पाऊंगा. But I know the usage of it. So that
Absolutely. The use case is very clear.
You are a great generalist.
हाँ,
You have to be a domain expert in something.
so I didn't go into
You know the right questions to ask.
yes.
And that's the real reason why I got into production from customer. I know him since the start of his career. And one day, so we used to be in the same apartment. Before.
Society, yeah.
No, same apartment.
Okay.
We were like, roommate, flatmates.
Yeah.
And one evening he came back all distressed. I think he was in customer serving at that time. Saying that आज तो सब कर दिया मैंने कमाल. मैंने क्या हो गया? कहता आज मैंने fax किया to the customer with 2 sheets, with a sheet जिसमें 2 column है, cost to us and cost to client.
आंग खींच रहा है. So that those days costing आप fax करते थे. तो वो जिस कंपनी में था ना, उनका कॉन्सेप्ट था cost to client, cost to us. और मैंने वही शीट भेज दी, फैक्स कर दी. Then someone has to go
Profitability good client गिन ले.
हाँ, सी के facts, and then client को we gave a story कि no, we were targeting. This is a targeting call. इतनी आ रही है, इतनी होगी. हाँ, but मतलब I was never too that good. So मैंने कभी उसके बाद जिंदगी में कभी cost to us नहीं बनाई. I never got into the cost to us board. हाँ, but I think it's a very interesting production and operations, a very interesting part.
very, very interesting.
And I think so as an industry also, we've evolved
A lot.
the industry today, because today if you see the way people function in operation and production is completely different
Very
from how it started. Moving forward, I think so both of you have a very, very clear cut expertise where the different kind of events are concerned. Sorry to say, but in industry the trend is that अगर आपने एक birthday कर ली तो आप event manager बन जाते हो, right? I was there for an event recently where they were very proud that we have not hired an event agency. And trust me, the presentation was not working. Any of the videos in the presentation were not working. The clicker was not working. They had to say change. And the speakers were, speakers were like the biggest of the people in the world. And here we are. Matlab, I know his Reiki checklist is still referred in our company and most of the companies.
Even I
the
do,
way
still there.
he function के इसी के कंसोल पे वो 4 stacked up laptops होते हैं जिसपे simultaneously चल रहा होता है. And he's so proud of, he always shares the console, the wires after the event, that how it's done. So I want you to explain to people, because industry is growing. Yesterday you saw, we've recently seen in the podcast, the Nikhil Kamath podcast, where he was talking to Elon Musk. And live industry is the focus for the entire industry, in entire world, and they're saying that this is the best time to invest, and 14.9% of CAGR is a good thing. So, and both of you, like, you have a solid expertise on corporate events, and you have a solid expertise on live events. Though his work I know, but when we discussed recently, you told me that if you fill in, the district has those algorithms and automation where you fill in the details and they will tell you what the security plan should be, how the structural drawing should be.
Yeah, exactly.
So all those things. So if you can just one by one take people through the different kinds of events which are corporate, what's the difference? And
sure.
what goes into building those events? What are the minute things that you look for?
Correct.
How do you manage agencies? Because agencies will always look for cut short, but you are the people who hold them. Okay, no, this has to happen like this because you know the journey and you know the output which is required.
Exactly.
So if you can just take us through.
So, so with live events, right, everything I feel starts from the layout, right? So back in the days when we started our careers, again, there was no AutoCAD. Nobody knew AutoCAD could any day apply into events, right? We used to go on site, we used to measure the site, Coral Draw पे वो बनाया, stage डाला without any dimensions, VIP platform इधर आएगा, bars इधर आएंगे, entry halls इधर आएगा, हमारे हिसाब से, जगह के हिसाब से, हमारे हिसाब से हो जाता था. But आज की तारीख में everything is mapped, right? So first we go and do a contour recce of the venue, of what are the undulations in the venue, to doing the soil testing of the venue, ki how much weight can be put on that ground in that location, because we are talking about heavy structures coming, right? When these massive stages are coming and steel roofs which are weighing 20 tons are coming, you cannot put it on a ground which is going to eventually sink. उसके नीचे क्या है वो भी आज के तारीख में पहले स्टडी करना पड़ता है. Right, so getting into those kind of detailings, to then laying out your entire layout, plotting all your emergency exits, planning your ingress, outgress, planning all the fire lanes, and you do like all of those things which are never thought of in the past. Now, when it comes to stage design, right? So, what is the kind of load that you need to put on a truss? First, get the engineering reports of the truss of how much weight can it actually take. Then start loading it on. Now there are softwares which we use in our daily lives, which gives us, we know that, okay, this vendor has this truss, this is the manufacturer, and the manufacturer is allowed 5 tons of load on this truss. So now, right from each shackle to each motor to each light to each truss to each LED that is going on that, and we are building that stage or that set, is all pre-calculated. We know that yes, this load can take 4 tons of capacity. We are loading it to 3.4, 3.5 and staying within those capacities. Wind loads are calculated. Ballasts are calculated as per, what is the actual load that you're putting on it. So a lot of structural engineers are involved. A lot of structural consultants are involved to design the stage, right? Similarly, to design the venue, you have your different, what would you call this one, momentum?
Like a health and safety.
Different health and safety consultants are looped into the game to make sure the ingress outgress plans are planned as per, if there is an emergency, how much time is it taking to evacuate those 10,000 people from the venue, what are your meeting points, all of these things, like, which are always planned when you're planning a city or you're planning a complex, right? So eventually in a complex there are 10,000 people living and there are those many emergency exits and stuff and assembly points planned. Similarly for these events also, we've started doing these in the past 5-6 years. Every year it is getting better and better, obviously, because with the influx of international artists coming in and the demand of health and safety going up day by day, things are getting streamlined. Vendors have started taking those steps to invest in the right gear, invest in the right inventory, to make sure that everything is adhered to. So that ways we are upping the game in every,
matlab, even for a person like me, more than 20 years into the industry, I didn't knew all this stuff, and I think so it's a great opportunity for you guys to start a training module where you teach people also, because this is the training ground, matlab, even to measure the soil and all, so that the stability can be measured. But these are the things which lead to disasters sometimes when you don't do. कितने हमने एग्जांपल्स देखे हैं, वो हर साल एक एग्जांपल आ जाता है, ट्रस गिर गई, स्टेज गिर गया. People don't follow the basics of के क्या इंफ्रा यूज करना है, and when you are using, then what are the precautions which should be taken.
I think for corporate events, I would say the God is in the details, really. We sometimes look at just the broad picture and miss out on the details. But as a producer, I think my core job is to look at details that somebody else would have missed out on. When we run presentation, right, something as silly as running a presentation, how complex can it get? You plug in an HDMI into your laptop and it should just show up. It's as simple as that. But What if that presentation machine fails in the middle of your top CEO presenting on stage? Like something happened to that machine. What do? You should already have a second machine, which is one slide ahead of that machine, so that when that machine fails, it will switch over to the second machine. So instead of it looking like something glitched, it will look like somebody advanced a slide, right? We also make sure that the wallpapers or the desktops of those machines are changed to the event logo. So in case something randomly, suddenly your PowerPoint crashes and your desktop was to be revealed on the screen, you will not see some random personal picture of a technician, right, with his wife and baby at some holiday day. That's what we all keep as desktops on our pictures of our loved ones, right? You don't want to put that up on screen. You want to have a meta logo or the event logo or whatever the case may be. So these are the details that we think of and always include in our checklist, so that when we are setting up on ground, we'll look at stuff like this. A basic rule is that all non-critical equipment should have one backup minimum, and all critical equipment will have a tertiary backup as well. So it's a primary backup and a secondary backup or a third tertiary layer. So any point of failure will always have 100% coverage. And there are some things, let's face it, there are some things you cannot have a backup for, like an LED screen itself. You cannot have a backup for it. But right, you can have a backup of the media servers, of the switches, of the processors, and all of the cables that are feeding the entire pipeline from your laptops or machines all the way up to the screen. If screen itself fails on your day, just too bad. There's nothing you
can't do about it.
You have to just deal with it. But everything else you can have backup of. So corporate events are going to need this sort of a detail. We also go into an extent that for a lot of our meta global events, we have presenters, the same set of presenters going from one country to the other country. Let's say there's a global program running, started in our headquarters in US. That event went to Latin America, then it went to Europe, APAC, and let's say finally concluded in Sydney. We want to make sure that these same presenters are having the same consistent experience all throughout as presenters. So the make and model of the clicker that we give them is same all across. I hold those equal. We always
Sometimes
use
they don't even have also.
DSAN Perfect Q is the clicker we globally use. And why do I do that? I have nothing. We are not married to DSAN as a company. It doesn't matter. What we want to do is we want to remove the presenter's attention to go towards, is it this button? Is it that button? They are just intuitively tuned to know this is the green button that I press, my slide will advance. The red button will get me one slide back. And so they don't have to focus on all of the tech. They can then shift their focus to delivering amazing content and engage with the audience. Their setup of the monitors, comfort monitors, timer, and slides, it's all standard all across. They can go to whichever venue in the world of a meta event being produced, they will have exactly the same thing. And then hence we get very picky about stuff we want on our events, which sometimes does not get taken in the right sense outside. I mean, people think that me is too picky. Yes, I'm picky. It's my job to be picky.
Exactly.
And I will be, because I want to make sure that the presenters have a consistent experience to, their mic preferences. We let a presenter choose the color of the headset skin tone mic that they want to use, so that they feel most included in that sense. We literally give them a tray which has 5 shades of headset mics kept on it, and we let them pick what they want. If they think that, let's say I'm slightly brown skinned, for example, and I want a darker shade of brown, I will take that. And nobody else needs to decide the color of mic for you. You pick what makes more sense for you. So we go into those.
I think so. All these things, because they make sense also.
Yeah.
Because if a person is familiar, it's a very difficult task to be on stage and present.
The more
front of the
comfortable he is, the more natural and the more
fluid he will
fluid
be.
he's going to be. Yeah, exactly.
So coming back, like all of us, when we are on site, there is a moment where you feel, now the event has started. Like for me, the moment that sound comes up with the music, that is where you feel, by now the event has started. So maybe that goosebump moment that you can define, that this is where I feel that, okay, now the event is happening.
I'd say two. I'll take one from each domain. I'll take one from the corporate side of things. I was at Viscraft and we were doing this event where Mr. Ratan Tata was exiting or stepping down as the top chief of Tata Group, and Mr. Cyrus Mistry was coming in.
Okay.
So that was an event to honor and recognize the work done by Mr. Tata. It was held at Tajlands and the seaside lawns. Taj is, of course, a Tata property in a way. And we had clear mandate from office and the directors that go all out, right? No matter, make it all happen. And when at the end of the event, Mr. Ratan Tata came up and literally thanked us individually. I mean, I get goosebumps right now. It's a moment you cannot describe. And on the large scale festival type genre, I would think when at the end of the Global Citizen India Festival, when A.R. Rahman walks up on the ramp and Coldplay is already parked on the stage B, and they do Vande Mataram together. That moment is...
That moment was viral also.
Ma tujhe salam. That moment, I mean, I can never get tired of watching that and knowing that I did a little bit in that event. So I think those two moments for me, it'll remain there forever.
I'm sure for you there'll be a long list, right?
Yeah.
You do concerts, right?
So these moments are very, very often in my kind of a scenario. But you know, it's generally at a concert that one goosebump moment when the first time during soundcheck the PA kicks in, right? Like that's the time when you know that yes, no matter how much work is pending or no matter how much work is going on or is happened already, when that PA kicks in and when you hear it, is that time where we are getting there.
Yeah,
you know?
all the tiredness also.
Yeah,
goes.
it just drains out from your body at that time when you hear that PA. And when I'm a very passionate person when it comes to tech, especially in that whole event. My 99% concentration has always been stages. I like designing stages myself also, and I'm always been kicked about using new technology, using new stuff, using new inventory, pushing the inventory to its core. In terms of if you're using a particular type of light, I want to use all the 12 modes of that light for this show. You know, I don't want to just use it like a spot or a wash.
Correct.
So that ways, those are always the highlight things. But if I have to name a particular event, I don't know. So I don't want to take names, but I was doing a wedding in Switzerland, and I was roaming around with all the celebrities and Bollywood stars of our country over there. And you know, there was Chris Martin performing, and I spent almost 3 days with him. I was his shadow. That was my job over there, and he was performing. And at the end of the 4th day, when the show got over and everything was done, in those 4 days, I must have clicked at least 500 pictures of him with different people, with different phones. And he's actually walked up to me and said that you've not acted for one picture till now. Don't you want that one picture with you? So that was like, wow, when he thought of it. You know, I never went approached, and I never approached saying that, no, I want one picture with you. But then that was like a moment for me that, wow.
No, those moments are very important. As I said, my entry into events industry was because of, I was very fond of Bollywood.
Yeah.
I saw Hrithik and all. And trust me, today I'm not enamored by whoever is present. And the only reason was that my first event was such that you name the Bollywood person was there.
Correct.
You name the industrialist who was there. You name the fashion person anywhere in the country was there. And it was Amar Singh's birthday party. That was my first event I attended.
Yeah.
And you will not believe what my job was. I was standing behind Amitabh. Amitabh was sitting and there was a caricature artist and all. And he sat there for half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was my job. And I don't know, from that time I had seen the entire world. Then I am never in the front. I will never be in the front in terms of, maybe that's the character, but that is how it is.
Absolutely. Same thing even with us. I don't think I've ever been in the front. So that's why in the beginning of this also, I was like, this is my first time. No Samta. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but yeah.
So like you said, for the sound, right? I think when the truss rig goes
Up, that's also like a
your venue can be in chaos, right? You can be far away from setup complete. But just when the truss is hanging at a working height and somebody presses a button and it goes straight to a stream height, like you feel like, okay, now we are on high.
Yeah.
So coming back to the experiences, and both of us, our reason to start Spalba was that there's so much of stress, there's so much of things which are unstructured in our industry. So we wanted to put some structure so that the event planning can become little easier. So we've reached a certain stage, and the study also shows that according to Forbes, event planner's job is 6th or 7th most stressful job. And the moment you are inside, some people, they cannot take the action, and you guys are always there inside. Like, for example, for me, it's been like 7, 8, 9 years now. The clients also know that I will be there till the last minute.
Yeah.
But when the show starts, I will not be there. So biggest of the events, I am outside with a danda and managing the traffic, and that is what I do. And the moment I get okay, keynote is done, then I go inside. Then I go inside. So how do you guys manage stress? Because that's a very important aspect of events. People feel stressed. Anything can go wrong. Sound, light, video. And the moment anything goes wrong, all the eyes are on you. And then somehow, and it's a very psychological thing also, because see, things can go wrong. Sometimes with 100% of the planning, one thing will go wrong. And it is for everyone, like the agency, the client, and the speakers. We just need to pause for a moment, and things will come back, and then it will start.
Exactly.
But how do you guys manage stress, and how do you teach? Because now you are leaders. How do you teach the juniors to manage and be there standing and, fighting it out right in the front?
I just feel it has to be about your what kind of a mental space you are in, right? You always have to be calm and composed, is what I feel. If you are excited, and if you are passing on that energy onto your team that, oh shit, something has gone wrong and how are we going to fix this? Instead of being that, no, it has gone wrong, we'll fix it. So that attitude has to be right at that time, being the leader in that room, taking those decisions in a way where, without disrupting the other ecosystem which is already running the way it is supposed to run. But one thing has gone wrong at one place, just to tackle that one place as smoothly and as quietly as possible without disrupting the entire other ecosystem, is what I feel.
The other part of that is that you're talking about scenario something has gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But even before something has gone wrong, people
to run the entire.
generally take stress, and that stress itself then invites some negativity into the end. Because if you're stressed, then something will definitely go wrong.
Exactly.
So how do you kind of bring that?
I just feel it's that individual's temperament and the way you deal with it, right? So for me now, someone coming and telling me that, shit, the DJ is on stage but uska CD player nahi chal raha hai. It is not going to make me hyper, because I know कि वो 3 CD player में से 2 जो extra लगे वो backup के लगे हुए हैं. So all he has to do is switch onto the other mixer. I'll give you the smallest of the example of the last event that I did, right? The opening act got delayed by half an hour because when he was plugging his pen drive to start use the DJ, as soon as he started playing, before opening the PA, obviously the sound engineer is hearing the sound on his headphones, and he's saying the sound is distorting. The sound is distorting? मतलब सब बोल रहे, why is the sound distorting? Okay, change the player. Backup player पे गए. It is still distorting. Backup player निकाला, तीसरे नीचे से backup player निकाला है, चौथा player लगा है, पांचवा player लगा है, sound is still distorting. Snakes change हुई हैं, sound is still distorting. क्या हो रहा है समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. 20 minutes is gone in doing all of this, right? And eventually, when we've gone to the DJ is saying my first track is distorted. We are changing players after players, we are changing cables on stage, but eventually we've realized that track is distorted. It's like, मेरा track ही ऐसा है भाई. तेरे sound में problem नहीं है.
The feature है, bug नहीं है.
So yeah.
So coming back to this, you guys have done so many concerts and all with the biggest of the artists. One very unreasonable request that has come from any of the artists where you would have said, what is this? We planned as per whatever you asked, and then now in the last minute this, because I believe there might be a lot of requests which might be something which
had way more than I would.
With the international artists, 99% of their requests come in, even if they are obnoxiously irritating, they come in advance. It's very rare that they'll come on site and say कि नहीं इसको ऐसे नहीं, इसको ऐसे चाहिए. But yeah, there have been requests where in a temporary green room we need to build a jacuzzi, right? And a jacuzzi has to be there, and obviously that water has to be tested before that water is getting. So we were doing the show in DY Patil Stadium, so वो water जो उसके stadium का tank से आ रहा है वो तो reject हो गया. तो अब क्या करना है? Artist 3 घंटे में आ रहा है, ये भरना है. So one tempo full of Bisleri 20-liter jars have come, and because it is the artist green room, only 2 people have the accolades to get into that room. One of being me. So it was us who has literally emptied that 5,000 liters of water into that, into that jacuzzi in their artist's green room. The artist has not even bothered to enter the green room. He has come from the car, gone on stage, gotten off, gotten into the car and gone away. Right? So at that time you feel कि बॉस हमसे तो वर्साचे का कारपेट लगवाया था, हमसे टीवी था ही नहीं लिस्ट में, हमने लास्ट मिनट कहीं से प्लाज्मा टीवी अरेंज करके PS5 लगवाया, काउच लगवाया, जकूजी में पानी भरवाया, तो आया ही नहीं अंदर, रूम में ही नहीं आया.
No, it happens a lot of times.
It happens a lot of times.
For me, I know we were doing an event where the brand ambassador, who we had not engaged, of course, he was the brand ambassador already. And I don't want to name, but not a superstar. Like, I would say an average-ish star. So he was supposed to be picked up from Delhi airport and taken to the Delhi hotel. The rider had come and specified that he needs a Mercedes S-Class as a pickup vehicle, which is good enough. No
Standard, yeah.
So we got that. When the Mercedes S-Class came and lined up outside the parking lot, the man walks in, looks at the glass, doesn't like the tint color of the glass.
Serious.
Like, this is bluish, I'd like a black coat.
Wow.
Didn't step into the car. Now, how do you find a Mercedes S-Class with a black tint right there? So,
Give him black goggles too.
yeah, that would have probably worked. But so, didn't step into it. So, the car had to go, get re-tinted,
Wow.
and come back. And those were the time when you used to apply those films. Now we can't, but so we changed that film. A couple of hours later, the car came. He was just sitting in the lounge. He's like, just decided that I will not go.
Yeah.
No, it happens a lot of time, I think. So, I have had so many experiences. So, when I was in Wishcraft, a lot of times when Amitabh used to come to Delhi, a lot of logistics was done by us. And we used to wait at the airport, and there used to be one car which was always with there.
Yeah.
And he never used to take that car. He said, मैं अमर सिंह के साथ जा रहा हूँ,
Yeah.
I'm going. And he used to go and people used to come. सर वहाँ तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं, हो तो बैठे ही नहीं, हमने देखा ही नहीं, तो चला गया. So there's so many things that we plan sometimes, people don't even go or touch also. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of, as I hear you guys speak, a lot of kind of a fatalism that gets associated with events, right? So, कि अब ये तो है, देखा जाएगा, we cannot help it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I have seen Naveen work very closely over the years, and that's why we started Spalba also, trying to see if we can bring some kind of a semblance to some kind of a structure to the madness that the events industry has. And we're trying to build tools, trying to standardize things, take it to the industry, not just keep it to ourselves, but take it to the industry. Hypothesis is that something that you do before the event can help you reduce the risk,
Absolutely.
reduce the stress of the event. Is that true? Is that something that you think is true? Or
Say planning does take a key role onto every project that you're working. The better you are planned, the lesser stressed you are on site, right? So that is always a major key, like to the T. You have to. So nowadays with the tools also, right? You can you can't even think of going 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches off in a stage design where there's so many accessories and things plugging into each other, from sound to lights to trussing to nuts to bolts to fabrication. Everything has to be pre-planned to the T so that you are sorted on ground. You are only following the drawings and not using your brains. Basically, that is so I feel.
You make it stand like this is more of a science.
Yeah.
Checklist है, करते जाओ होता है.
Yeah.
But then why does not the industry use it more often than
I think the flaw in that system is because currently all of this depends on whether the production manager wants to do it or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's an independent choice.
Yeah,
It's
How
not
much
a
of an effort-
system where if you don't select these 5 things or fill up these 5 things, you will not even go to the next step.
right?
Like, why do we fill out forms the way we fill out? Because वो नीचे वाला submit button enable होगा ही नहीं जब तक आपने सारे mandatory fields भरे नहीं, right?
Correct.
Right now, that submit button is enabled forever. And that's why people will just press the submit button without putting anything in it.
Yeah.
And that's why we run into mess.
Right.
So currently it's a choice that Mihir and Vinay can make and say, I will do it this way. And this way only.
Only, yeah, absolutely.
Even if there is no tool. But if there was a tool that dictates how things are done, and then you let people populate stuff, add details, it will get every producer in the country to follow that system.
Yeah.
I'm already visualizing the UI of this.
Yes. No, and I definitely think there is a space in the world.
There is definitely a big space in this.
And I mean, in a way, right? The reason why only a few have excelled and not too many in this domain is because of the personal choices that they've made.
Right.
If everybody followed the same methodology and the SOPs and the processes from day one of their career, there'll be so many more like us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Most of them are self-formed though.
right. And it's not that anybody enforced us to do certain things certain way. We were mentored by great mentors. I'm sure you have a bunch of them. I have a ton of them, right? Who I'm grateful to have been mentored by. And hence I picked up different things from different people and I kind of embraced it and I bring it into my workflow. But not everybody does that. चल जाएगा ये फॉर्म नहीं भी भरा तो क्या प्लान है अगर खाली सप्लायर को बोल देंगे कि 12 क्लियर कॉम लेके आ जाना क्लियर कॉम 12 है लेकिन कितने वायरलेस कितने वायर्ड कितने चैनल ए पे चलेंगे कितने चैनल बी पे चलेंगे
कितने एंटीना
कहाँ पे लोकेशन चाहिए हु इज यूजिंग दोज कॉम उसका प्लान मीर बनाएगा क्योंकि मीर पागल है कोई और नहीं बनाएगा तो चलेगा उसको बट इफ यू हैड अ सिस्टम वेयर इफ यू से 12 कॉम्स नेक्स्ट शीट विल बी अ सेक्शन दैट यू हैव टू put details into first com to show color, second to show manager, third to lighting designer, whatever, XYZ. And before pressing that OK button, after populating everything, you can't go to the next phase. So, usko bharna hi hai.
Yeah.
No, is it also because ki, lot of people take this as a competitive advantage कि मैंने जो बनाया है, for example, let's say Mihir was our agency today, right? Mihir and Sons, right? You would have this elaborate checklist and this entire thing to work on. You would not want others to have access to it, right? Well, that's something that you do, and that's given.
I would honestly love for everybody to have access to it and do it. Like
I would, we would always want to share. The way we've achieved what we've achieved, so that there are lesser flaws in the industry. It is eventually the industry is growing.
Correct.
You are growing with it, right?
there's no need to be insecure about it, right? कि अगर मैं मेरा format कहीं बाहर दे दूंगा तो अभी मैंने बनाया है.
See, the more the data and the intelligence is shared with other people, the better the output will be.
Yeah.
And the next question that I come with is, because you guys you work into details and go into details, how do you make sure that, because there are events where 50 people, 100 people are working, how do you make sure that the end person also knows what his job and what he's supposed to do? Because that's the biggest thing. For a lot of people who get into the industry, events is all about throughput. If you can live the event before the event happens, that is where you minimize the risk. So how do you make sure that everyone who's there with you, working you, though you are anchoring, you are planning, but it needs to trickle down to the last person also. How do you make sure that it goes to the last person?
To me, I usually try and do it in a way that in the entire run up to the actual event, there will be different points when I will pass on information to a certain large set of people. When I start off, it may be just in my head. I will do the structure of it and kind of put in place how I would like this to unfold. Then bring in the partners and the suppliers and their crew chiefs, lead technicians to brainstorm and just figure out, am I thinking the right way? Is there a better way to do it? How can we make it even better? Once that plan has firmed up further, then you take it to the next level, go to the systems engineer, go to the guys who are going to configure the system, power up the system, and then say, okay, now we've built this. How do you feel about it? Do you have any input? And then make those tweaks. And then very close to the actual event day or the load-in day is when you will really know who are the actual guys coming to your event venue. You won't have access to them 2 months ago.
Yeah,
no way.
You're never going to get access.
So, agar access hi nahi hai, to who will you brief? So you have to wait for that last mile briefing literally at the venue. Like when the truck comes, before you unload the first cabinet into my venue, here are 15 things I want you to know. Here's your lumping area. That's where power is. That's where washroom is. That's where you get your water from. If you want to rest, you cannot rest here. Go here. Your food is sorted here. X, Y, Z. And then let them carry on that day's job. A next fresh truck comes, same set of instruction for that truck. And that's when it kind of goes through the right way. And like to what Naveen said, I usually use this as a bit of a personal hack. I do a bit of a visualization in my own, not on any tool. Once you've done all your plans, sit with your eyes closed, really, and see the whole process unfold in your own head.
Correct.
You will already, and as detailed as you can get, right? के सामान कहाँ पे unload होगा, empty flight cases कहाँ पे store होंगे, cable चलेगा पहले कि cable tray चाहिए, तो पता चलेगा पहले cable tray चाहिए. Stuff like that. The more you think about it, the more you will know कि अरे ये तो मैंने सोचा ही नहीं है, ये तो मैंने paper में डाला नहीं है, या something I want to tell somebody. And then you will already know what are the things that can go wrong, which you don't have a backup plan for, and then you build it before you actually go. So I usually do most events twice. Once in my head, once in reality.
And I can bet this is not as easy as it sounds, because
because it is
running it through your head.
Experience.
Running it in your head gives you a lot of pain, because then you are looking at the areas that can go wrong. And you can have sleepless nights. I've gone through that recently in few events.
Correct.
And it just kind of wakes you up saying, भैया ये तो गलत होने वाला, कैसे होगा? How do I get to get this sorted?
But because you do this sort of a visualization, you are able to provide every stakeholder at the event what they need before they ask you.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what is the brief that the lighting designer is going to ask you for it. In your head, you know it. You already given them like that brief to them.
Correct.
Or the show running team comes in, you already given them content, extra USB sticks. My visual has to be like that. Cues, MC kahan se aayega, kahan se jayega. All of that is clear. So people are not left to make guesses or having to wait till you go back to them and give them answers. You already prep them. And then once they are on ground, they'll just run with it.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
For me, it is more at a macro level, not as micro as Mihir was saying. For me, it is departments, right? It is technical. So in technicals, there will be one team which is only looking into sound, one team which is only looking into. So I cannot afford to have a 50 people team for production with me. So we depend a lot on external agencies that are providing us manpower or freelancers who are working. So for us, my core team is specialized in every department that comes under production. So there is one person who's only looking into tech, one person only looking into infrastructure, when you build construction, that kind of stuff. One person only looking into fabrication and looking into branding and that kind of stuff. So there are department heads, and then they have their, so they are the ones who I am briefing on how this entire story needs to unfold on ground. And then they have their freelancers coming in a couple of days before the show, coming to office, getting all the vendors to office, getting all the freelancers to office 1 week, 10 days before the show, running the entire layout with them, understanding the layout with them, taking their inputs, doing the changes onto the layout. If he feels कि नहीं आपने मेरा storage area stage से बहुत दूर रखा है, I need it closer for a quicker turnaround of so that my time is not wasted on moving my flight cases, which is 600, 800 meters away from the stage. So taking all those inputs in, and then eventually on ground you are so prepped that everybody knows their job role, everybody knows exactly what they need to do, and everybody has to follow a checklist. They don't have to use their brains, right? If it is either drawings that they have to follow, if it is the stage, if it is the infra, it is a checklist that they need to follow. That our checklists are so detailed that if there are 150 food stalls, we won't write 150 pagodas with 150 tables and 150 chairs. It will be each food stall, ये उसका brand है, उसके अंदर इतने plug point जा रहे हैं, इतनी table जा रही है, हर brand को अलग requirement है tables, कुर्सी और plug points की, हर brand का same नहीं है. So our checklist is that detailed कि उसमें आपको अपना दिमाग नहीं चलाना है, आपको खाली follow करना है कि ये stall number 24 है, तो इसके अंदर इतने plug points, इतने tables, इतनी chairs जानी है. वो अलग बात है कि जब तक event day आता है, उतने सेटअप हो गए थे, बट बाजू वाला स्टॉल आके मेरी चेयर ले गया, मेरी कुर्सी ले गया, मेरा प्लग पॉइंट ले गया, वो आज भी चलते हैं, राइट? वो अलग बात है. बट एक टाइम जब वो हो रहा है, तब वो उस हिसाब से, उस चेकलिस्ट के हिसाब से,
at least you have a baseline to go with. Yes.
I think one thing I also usually like to do is to, while we are running rehearsals, not just run the planned stuff, run the failures as well.
Correct.
Right? So let's say in my head, I know that if a presenter was on a cordless handheld mic and if the mic failed, I would like the stage left to go over to that person and just politely pass a mic and take that other mic away. It's on the paper. We've discussed it with the stage team. But will it really happen? Will they react and respond at the right time? I wouldn't know till it really happens. So what we do is, during rehearsal, we simulate some of these scenarios without those teams knowing that this is being simulated. So if I'm a stand in present. I will just go and intentionally switch off my mic and in the middle of a click through that I'm having.
Yeah.
I want to see whether the person's reacting or not. Or do they fumble? And if they fumble, it's time to clean up and sharpen and fine tune to really see if all the plans on paper are translating on ground or not.
True. No, it's very, actually, I'll give you another example. We built a system for an event. So we built an entire gamification where the attendees who are coming in will go through a series of gamification experiences in the event. But the registration was being done by some other software. This software was ours, and we had built an API for the registration to happen and the attendee data to come into our system via API. And then once you're there, then you will. One night before the event, and I'm sleeping, I got this in my head: what happens if the API fails, right? So registration is getting done, and but data is not coming into our system. So attendees are coming into the flow, and they are not able to experience anything. Nothing will work for them because we have not had the data into our system. And I got up early morning, rushed to the site, made sure that there's a screen, the interface open at the registration desk for them to see, make sure that the data has gone through the API, and then also ensure that at our end, we have a registration small desk set up in case somebody comes in who has registered and data is not there, they can register then there and data gets into our system. I think running it through, but problem what happened was I could not translate my anxiety to these two set of people.
Right.
कि हाँ हम तो registration कर रहे हैं, ये कह रहा हाँ हमारा आएगा हम तो
वो isolation में चल रहे दोनों.
अपने चल रहे.
So for that I had to really shout at my lungs capacity to make sure that this happens.
And that too when you were in a different country where English was difficult to be understood.
And very similar, like you spoke about two systems talking to each other through a pipeline of API.
Right.
This happens in our event management scenario so often, right? Let's say you have a presentation laptop. That presentation laptop fundamentally is a video device, which is connected to the video system, then going either to a projector or an LED screen or whatever. But it also has an audio output. अगर लैपटॉप पे कोई वीडियो चलना है तो उसका ऑडियो तो स्पीकर्स में से आना है.
Correct.
So that one cable that needs to get connected into the laptop needs to eventually go into the audio mixer. Now, whose responsibility is it to bring that cable?
Correct.
Is it the video department or is it the audio department?
Exactly.
So I have a simple rule, and all the techs who work with me know it. My rule is whoever needs the signal will run the cable. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, video department's job ends at deploying the laptop. Audio department, because they need the signal, they will run the cable and plug it in. So when you establish such systems and just run it over the years, right, then it gets ingrained into parts of, like they know that if Mihir is producing, whoever runs the cable needs the signal, you run the cable, period.
Correct.
Of course, you can have your under the table arrangements and figure out, आज मेरे पास cable नहीं है इतना length माने तो वो तेरा problem.
Right.
I will not solve that problem.
But the ownership will be with the.
So, and stuff like this when systems are talking. I mean, I gave you the most frivolous example that one can get. But today's systems on tech are so complex and they are all interconnected.
Time coded.
Right? Something's getting generated somewhere else and it travels through a whole pipeline to hit a different system that gets triggered. There's so much interdependency. If you haven't spoken and aligned as one cohesive team, two teams can be doing amazing, but two others will just be struggling. And that's not going to deliver a great show.
In our scenario like this, what happens is generally the artist is traveling with their own sound engineer, light designer, visual player, you know. So they are a part of the show, right? So they are as important as the artist on stage. Correct. So there is one XLR that the artist is going to ask, which is running from that deck into over here, which is triggering the time code, right? So there is always a thing कि यार ये audio का XLR है, but डालेगा कौन? तो eventually डालता video वाला ये, क्योंकि XLR तो वही चला रहा है ना, LEDs पे तो XLR नहीं, sorry, अपना Cat 6 तो वही चला रहा है. तो Cat 6 तो अगर video वाला चला रहा है, but उसका काम नहीं है. But it is now become like a mandate कि वो Cat 6 DJ के console से लेके उसके laptop से लेके SLV console तक तो LED वाले को ही डालनी है, you know, and how then these three guys are triggering the lighting for a particular track that the artist is playing on stage along with the visuals and the SFX is all magic, because and our engineers will not be able to do that because they've never done that show, right? That is the reason why the artist is traveling with their own crew,
Right.
and we have to meet the specs that they ask for. is also because they are only used to, they've designed the show on that board. They are used to run that board. And now if you say नहीं हमने आपको MA3 की जगह MA2 दे दिया, you know, उसको वो नहीं कर पाएगा वो show.
It's the same thing like the clicker in our world, right?
Right.
Yeah.
आज Logitech का कल decent है तो you will fumble. Possibly you will fumble.
You will fumble.
Right. So you guys have executed events across the globe, right? I mean,
Absolutely, yes.
It's not just India. Is there any difference in the planning the way we do it in India, the way we handle the stress, the way we handle versus, let's say, a more advanced country like Europe or US or Singapore? Do you feel any difference, or is it same everywhere?
I would, and I don't know, Vinay may have a different take, but I would say a few years ago, if you ask me this question, I will probably say there was a difference. We probably didn't pay as much attention and care to the planning phase that we now do.
You're the wrong person to ask this question.
I know. I definitely think we didn't do that. We didn't pay so much focus on planning 5, 7, 10 years ago, but we have caught up. And we do a fairly good job at planning. And of course, the sky is the limit, and fairly good can become even better. But I wouldn't not compare us to the international standard of prep. We do
But
a fair
that,
job.
that is particularly with the kind of events that you do. The kind of events that I have done abroad, most of the events that I've done are weddings, right? So that is such a vast difference that I see. So number one, they do not entertain anything last minute. Right, you will go there and say कि अरे 4 पार्किंग एक्स्ट्रा बेच दे या मेरे को 20 फुट कारपेट एक्स्ट्रा दे दे तो उसका 10 गुना भाव लगना है.
There's a term called rush fee.
Yeah, there's an
They will charge you a
opportunity
rush fee.
and then there's an opportunity fee, and they will squeeze the balls out of you, right, to get those kind of money out. So you cannot afford. Your planning has to be so crisp, or you always call for a little bit of saman extra when you're doing so. So for me, that learning after doing the couple of first events abroad is what I realized कि बॉस थोड़ा सामान एक्स्ट्रा मंगवा लो, वो बेटर है, क्योंकि हमारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स, हमारे डिजाइनर का मूड कब चेंज हो जाएगा, वो बोलेगी मैं इसको यहाँ से उठा के यहाँ रख रही हूँ, अभी मेरे को 4 एक्स्ट्रा लाइट चाहिए. वो 4 एक्स्ट्रा लाइट जो 400 रुपए की, उसका हम 40,000 भर रहे हैं अगर लास्ट मिनट मंगा रहे हैं, right? So
Bed were 4 extra.
yeah, exactly. So it will be 100x if you're calling for stuff last minute over there. So those, that is, I'm giving you a very, very small example, but also what I've realized over the years doing events from in the same countries, especially I've done a lot of weddings in Europe. So we particularly work with a couple of vendors who work all over Europe, right? So they have understood our style of working, and they automatically come prepared कि last minute 20% changes आने ही आने हैं, ये Indians है, right? इनसे आने ही आने हैं, तो you be prepped mentally. There's no point, because they lose their shit if it is not as per what the sheet is, right? So now they've also understood our way of working. If you are working with the same vendor again and again, right? But if you're traveling to newer countries and doing it with fresher vendors every time, you're not going to get that comfort.
I would top up my answer by also saying that the difference still is that they do the granular level of planning on every
show. Yeah,
irrespective of its scale, importance, impact, consequence, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
4 backdrop लगाना है, planning वही
वही
है,
है.
process वही है, systems वही है.
Okay.
We are choosy about which shows get more attention and which shows can ease up. So we haven't come to that level of discipline yet, where we would say that no matter how small the show is, it will deserve same amount of prep time from us. Maybe it's not scalable. I don't know. I mean, there could be reasons behind it.
So I'll give you my example. Somehow, past people from Europe, US, they were way ahead of us.
Yeah.
And we were still learning when Jack Mortons and all, when they came first time to our country, we executed a lot of events. They were way ahead of us. And we were just learning the ropes. But now what I've seen in the last 2 years since we started our Singapore operations, people are traveling from our country to the multiple countries. You yourself are executing in Singapore, the entire APAC region. You just came from Japan. There's so many people who are going to Japan to execute event and come back.
Correct.
So our team also, we were executing Google Playtime. We executed in Vietnam. The Indian team went to Japan and executed Google Playtime and then came back.
Correct.
So there is something which, from my point of view, I can tell you what it is. So somehow our DNA is that we push a lot.
Correct.
We are more creative. So there it is like you will be with the line.
Exactly.
But if you are, मैं इतना ही था, मैं इतना ही करूँगा. But we are pushing.
Yeah.
So the same example that you gave today in Singapore, the first event that we did, boss, what is happening? 4 days setup and still 5th day prints are changing.
Yeah.
He was shocked and he went crazy. Today, 2 days before he comes, okay, tell me what all changes. The guy is there 4 hours in the printing shop. Can you please tell me right now?
You are
We are
changing
not
that
telling.
ecosystem.
See, but we've also improved.
Exactly, yeah,
We've
yeah,
improved. So our errors, chances of error, इस फाइल की open ये नहीं दिया, वो नहीं दिया, इसका आपने मतलब जो फाइल होती है खोल के दे दिया, font change हो गया. So all those things. But now they are getting used. And now, because we are doing multiple things with the same vendor, now they are getting used to it. But what I believe is that today why we have been successful in the APAC region is the flexibility, the creativity, the way we are pushing people to perform.
They
With
know
no
they
boss.
themselves can't do what we do in their country.
So I'm saying, and you know, we have a lot of privilege. Like Lalitji sitting here can really execute 3 events on the same day for you. There, we did Google Playtime last year. That was the biggest in the last year. And we hired 3 vendors for one setup. You won't believe. One vendor was not able to do it. He didn't have the capacity to do it.
You could be the biggest one also of the
Then-
city.
Yeah,
How do you make sure that your paint is same, your print is same, your wood is same?
crazy.
Correct.
So what we did was paint one person, we asked them to make paint. Then he was delivering the paint to other 2. The mica, the laminate, the wood was selected, grain was selected, number was selected, given to everyone else. So that when it all came together,
It
and
looked
this
wow.
only we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
Nobody has
Anywhere
that
you go all
patience,
around the world, people will not do. Vietnam, we executed. Our execution was much better than the local agency. People used to say कि ये country ऐसी है, यहाँ नहीं हो सकता. And we made sure bloody standard is standard. It has to be same in India, Singapore and Vietnam. And it's all because of process.
Yeah.
We will not compromise. Boss, if a print is there, it has to be sampled. It has to be shown to the client. You need to show it to the client.
Yeah,
Right?
get it
Tomorrow,
approved.
half of the stress comes, we've not shown things to the client. Client comes on site. They say, boss, मेरा ये green तो मेरा नहीं लग रहा. And what do you do? So you take out those prints, send it to the client. Everything has to be shown to the client much before you reach the site. Because site पे पहुंचने के बाद, we have a very simple policy. मैं site पे पहुंचने के बाद ना जो मेरे को काम करना है, मैं उसको नहीं देखूंगा. I want to see how do I improvise, make the experience better. That is the most important.
Correct.
So, like in a lot of ways, it feels like a Infosys movement for the events industry, where we are trying to execute a lot of work from India.
Yes, I'm sure.
And
We are training people abroad also to work our way.
So
It's a real experience better.
I don't want to.
and the advantage is not the cost arbitrage, which was typically the kind of USP that Infosys and TCS brought into IT industry. It's more about the capability and the way we are working. So I think that's a very, very proud thing for us to say that we are actually able to do things that they are not able to do. So you were saying something.
No. So I'm saying that whatever we've gone through is the reason why we are doing what we are doing. Because now I see a lot of agencies, people are putting up retail kiosk in Singapore, sitting in India.
Yeah, without even going.
Why will a client give it to you if you are costly, if you are not creative, if you are not innovating? They will not give you. You don't have anything. But still people are going and doing this. There is something that is ingrained in our system for whatever reason, 10, 15, 20 years we've gone through. That is what is helping.
Yeah, that extra push. कि नहीं हो जाएगा करेंगे.
And we also bring in a very frugal mindset every time, right? $1 million देके तो आप $1 million जैसा इवेंट आप कर सकते हो. लेकिन $500,000 लेके almost $1 million जैसा looking event कर सकते हो आप. वो I think we bring in a knack there. How do you make the most of your investment, get the best out of every single thing that you are deploying, and make it work.
But usme bhi, Mihir, I think so. Lot of things changes when, because see the local vendors, what I've seen in Vietnam also when we hired this production company, their all mindset is India se aayega, ऐसे करेगा, वो होगा, काम कराना नहीं होगा ये. Because lot of dealer events and all.
Yeah.
But when the moment a person sees a design and the details,
Right.
they completely change.
Yeah.
True.
And then they believe in you because
Then they start respecting you.
now Singapore after 1 work, 2 work, that guy begs for a work. कि boss, आप जो काम कर रहे हो ना, उससे मुझे 10 और मिलेंगे उसको दिखा के. Because this is something very, very different. I think so, the same DNA is the same because the kind of work, not everyone, 90% of the people don't do that kind of work.
Yeah.
The kind of work we are doing, because the moment they see, they say, yaar boss, ये तो करना ही करना है. And then they push. So this time our local vendor, you bullards, chairs, furnitures, everything is bought new. Because he knew कि भाई, this is Google event, you cannot compromise.
Right.
So he's ready to build an inventory also. Otherwise, बस यही 4 चेयर हैं आप ले लो. तो it's all what is ingrained in us. We are pushing, we want to be creative also, and we are very hungry for that market. So the hunger is also very important.
Okay. What do you think that still needs to be one thing that you can pinpoint that ये तो इंडिया में होना चाहिए, होता नहीं है अभी. We don't do it. Because we've done a lot of goody stuff, chest thumping बहुत कर ली. I'm sure there are gaps still that exist between the way we do things and the way actually it should have been done. Do you think there's, can you pick up one thing?
In my industry, I would say health and safety is something like,
We don't-
which is not governed. There's no government body who's looking into the health and safety of an event. Like, we being a big agency have our own internal checks and processes and systems and people who are looking into it. But if it is a standalone promoter who's doing the show, there is nobody governing or supervising the health and safety factor of that event, right? Like,
Government typically gets involved after something happens.
it is only after an
Actually,
accident happens that is when they will say कि आपने मतलब there is nobody coming and proof checking what you've done is the right way or wrong. आपने जो load डाला है वो सही डाला है नहीं डाला है. आपने जितने emergency exits रखे हैं आप 10 मिनट में उस venue को खाली कर पाओगे या नहीं. Nobody is checking from a government.
Agencies in government to get involved in event outside? No.
Not.
Then what happens?
Abroad, yes.
Abroad, huh?
Abroad, everything has. There is a for especially concerts. There is one inspector from the government who is who is supervising all the pyros, all the structures, who's looking into certifications and certifying everything from end to end. Like, I've done concerts abroad also. That is why I know that end to end government की तरफ से एक health and safety inspector appoint होता है जो कि site चालू होने के day 1 से उधर ही रहता है और site का last कीला जब site से नहीं निकल रहा है जब तक वो stationed है venue पे.
And they are there for the cause of it, not for just the sake of it, right?
Rome
It's not a signature on a paperwork or some stamp on the paper. That guy is really there enforcing you that before you walk into the venue, if you do not have a hard hat, the right shoes, the right outfit, you cannot go in. You can be the top boss of whoever, doesn't matter.
The problem that probably will happen in India is that the government steps into it, the rent seeking will start. Right, so the guy will be there.
So there are a lot of private agencies who've started taking up these works and bigger productions are involving those agencies now into their ecosystem to make sure that they are de-risked, right? You need to de-risk yourself by getting that. अगर एक structural engineer ने structure पे certificate दे दिया है, उसको stamp करके sign कर दिया है, कल को कुछ गलत होता है तो वो उस बंदे की responsibility है, right? क्योंकि उसने उसको certify किया है. It is a government authorized structural engineer who is signing your stage. And if tomorrow that stage breaks, it is that guy's responsibility and not my responsibility.
But problem तो वही है ना Vinay. So look at the roads, right?
Yeah.
नहीं, I have a complete list by the way. मतलब goodies को छोड़ दो, हमारी country में venue नहीं है.
है ही नहीं.
Right?
Exactly.
Venue नहीं है.
बना रहे हैं.
Venue है तो ceiling नहीं है. Ceiling है तो rigging नहीं है.
Rigging नहीं है.
Right? Then फिर आप infrastructure पे सड़कें नहीं है. गुड़गांव में हम रहते हैं. गुड़गांव में आप कॉन्सर्ट नहीं कर सकते. जगह नहीं है. एक हराया मॉल करके है, ओपन ग्राउंड्स हैं. वहां होता है. जब वहां कोई भी लाइव कॉन्सर्ट होता है, 4 घंटे पहले 4 घंटे बाद ट्रैफिक जैम मतलब खत्म. आप सड़क पे बाहर नहीं निकल सकते. सड़कें खराब हैं. आप वेन्यू में पहुंच जाओ तो कोई मैनेजमेंट नहीं है. लोगों के फोन चोरी हो रहे हैं. देयर वाज सिर्फ करण औजला 200+ फोन चोरी हो रहे हैं. लोगों की लड़ाइयां हो रही हैं. देयर इज नो प्रॉपर वॉशरूम सैनिटेशन. ये चीजें है ही नहीं. दिस इज समथिंग, इट इज अ complete ground up, and I can say that like people like Book My Show and District, they are doing the industry, building the industry from ground up by taking up the venues. I believe there is something which has been bought in Bangalore, where the entire infra is there in the system itself. So we need to
we've started
create those venues
over there basically, where there are permanent toilets, permanent stays, permanent traffic.
So we need so much of this, and when you come to the corporate side also, it's the same thing only.
Correct.
So because the infrastructure is not built from event perspective.
Exactly.
होटल है, रूम सेंट्रिक है, इवेंट सेंट्रिक कोई है ही नहीं. तो अगर इवेंट सेंट्रिक जैसे जियो वर्ल्ड कन्वेंशन सेंटर है, मतलब इट्स अ मास्टरपीस इन इटसेल्फ.
Exactly.
Now, in spite of the fact that the rental is so high, people are coming to do because
unavailable.
through the year it's not available. But you see, मतलब cities like Delhi, Gurgaon, everything needs to open up because if by saying that live events is going to be the future, I think, and it cannot happen without a government and a private partnership. उसके बिना हो ही नहीं सकता.
And a venue touches every side of an event, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From your customer experience to how big a experience can you build to how well you can deliver. If you are expected to do MMRDA grounds, which are just bare grounds, and turn that into a concert venue for 80,000 people for an entire day, you are building every single piece of infrastructure, including the fence. Like, where does your venue start and end? You are building that.
Correct.
Your entry points, your fence, your toilets, your power distribution.
That's been the biggest challenge, and that is because the cost is also very cost. Then predictability
How
is
are
very.
you going to make your P&L green, right? If your infra itself is taking away half your money, and abroad if you go and do a concert, the only money that you're spending is on the stage and the tech. Rest everything comes with the venue, from security to housekeeping to food stalls to water. Everything is coming. Oh, here you're building everything from scratch for one event for that one day.
And of course, P&L is an important aspect, but even after spending that money, you cannot deliver that quality. 100%.
Yeah, you're never
At the
satisfied.
end of the day, it's temporary.
It's temporary, not a permanent.
It will never match an existing parking lot with a proper barrier that you can swipe into, and it'll never not.
Or a ceramic loo that you want to pee on rather than a pota loo which is plastic and it is leaking and it is stinking, right? So
A lot of things to be done.
yeah.
I would also say, Naveen, one thing outside of the government and venue and all of those, I also think that there is a big focus on compete and not so much focus on collaborate in our world when it comes to just the people in the ecosystem, right? Everybody is very protective or sometimes overly protective about their portfolio of work, which as a business makes sense. But now that I'm on the client side of things, right? I sometimes feel that if we've engaged an agency or a partner whose domain expertise is XYZ, and I'm asking you to do ABC as a primary contractor, why don't you bring in somebody who is a domain expert in
domain
ABC
expert, yes.
and work with them as a collaborator?
No, but
like,
that's
don't make
that's
me
the way
and
we
my
are going
product
now.
suffer
But Mihir, that is
because you are just so closely guarding everything that you want to guard. Like, I'm losing out on a great experience because of that. Or then I'm having to break out into, okay, I'll do agency A for this, agency B for that, which is complex.
Correct.
No. In fact, I think so. Meta is very championing this thing. So last Fuel for India, when we were planning,
Right.
we and Cab were asked to collaborate. Like, we were supposed to do the entire execution and production for it, and they were supposed to bring in the creative aspect.
Right.
And that is what came from Meta itself. It was not, otherwise no one would have collaborated.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
Collaboration
times
is-
we, as a technical producer, I know who are the companies and technical suppliers I want to work with. And I will almost mandate it without mandating it.
Correct.
Right? Because I know that they are the right guys for the job.
Yeah.
So just because you feel a little more comfortable doing a certain part of the job with somebody else, don't put my show at risk.
Right.
Or don't give me a substantial quality product. I'm not open to taking that. So I think a little more openness, a little more collaborative approach could just be beneficial all across.
So you guys have done so many events. Is there one event which is like, you can say it was a masterclass of everything worked well? Because we always go back to one event, that this is the event that we put everything in place and it worked perfectly fine. And the second thing is, I think so both of you should take up one event in the future and create a masterclass episode of how it is done. What are the things which should be?
Sign me up.
Yeah, because no matter how much of documentation and stuff you see, what you see visually, when you create that masterclass of 1 hour session for people to understand, there are so many youngsters who would like to see and would like to follow that, because that's very, very important.
I don't know. For me, I would say the most recent one, Rolling Loud, that I did was a very, very satisfying event for me in terms of the way it was accepted by the community and the culture and the international teams involved, right? Eventually, we were tapped at our back saying that we did a better job than the smaller countries that we have. It's an international IP, right? So the way we delivered it was much better than few other countries that they've been working at a smaller scale or at this scale. So the way we planned it and the way we executed it, I feel was at par to any other international music festival that we would go to or 100% want to experience.
I think so. I love this guy. I don't remember the name. He did something for Kumbh, for event.
Correct.
And he created a video, amazing video. Matlab, that is a video people should see.
I've seen that. I think
how
I've seen
vendors were approached, how they did it.
Is what a guy from Pune?
Yeah, the guy from Pune.
Yeah,
I saw the video and
I know his name, but I can't.
Although I also cannot recall
Varun.
some.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
City planner. Yeah.
But maybe these are the things which should be, because we do not have books to understand, how it has to be. And these are the series which can be done. If it can be done, then it can improve a lot of people's life. They will start looking at events from a different lens altogether. Yeah. So which old school tech do you miss, even though it made life hell?
I would say a good old glass shatter.
Oh, yes.
I've done like too many of those.
Those were the days when only the glass shutter used to happen. Bike nikal rahe ho, glass shutter. Glass shutter.
So glass, when you have to reveal a product or a star or whatever, you will have a
Glass shatter and
scenic
somewhere
panel,
yeah.
and in that there'll be a 4x8 glass panel, which is toughened glass, and it had explosives at the back, which are electrically charged. So somebody says 3, 2, 1, go, and hit the button, and the explosive will take the glass down, and the guy walks in. The fun thing about that is you can never test it, right? Because if you test it, it's going to you need a new one.
Sometimes it breaks in the testing also.
So you cannot test it. And the only backup to that will be a good old hathoda. You always had that. If you had a glass shatter, you will have a big hathoda backstage. And if the explosives didn't go on, then a whack on the glass with the hathoda, and that's your glass shatter. Yeah. I miss that.
No. So my initial events used to be, I did Scorpio launch, maybe like 20 plus cities. And everywhere I used to drive. That was one. Then I got into bikes. So I think Hero was there. And then there was this company, I think so it's closed down. I don't remember the name. And there where I used to come out from the glass thing.
Wow. You were the stuntman.
A lot of times it used to be like, it used to come. Because you always used to hire promoters. Sometimes promoters were not able to, chal bhai, chad ja, tu hi kar de. So, but good old days, yes. What is the most overrated tech in events today?
Overrated tech.
I think, I don't think the tech itself is overrated, but somehow how we pitch it is too overrated. Like we call everything projection mapping.
Yeah.
Right?
But that was
You
my
take
answer
a
too.
simple projector, put it on a piece of architecture, and run random content and call it projection mapping. It is not that
Yeah,
complicated.
exactly. I was
overrated.
Projection, it was exactly you picked up my point also, which I thought of before I came here. That mapping is something which is because that term is so overused, right? Like it can be this wall which is white in color and you are just projecting on it, but वो बोल रहे हैं कि हम mapping कर रहे हैं, right? That is not what is mapping.
That's mapping to me is if you are doing a building or an architectural monument, and you are firing projectors on them, unless you have looked at the details of the architecture, looked at each window, each niche, each elevation, each spatial depth, and like the architecture around it, and unless you've married all of that into your content and really gone centimeter by centimeter, pixel by pixel, and done something with it, I would call that projection.
So what we saw at Adiyogi was the projection, because you see the snake coming and forming, you see the eyes opening and closing. Right. So inch by inch, they've mapped the entire thing.
So that is projection mapping. But if on the same structure, you're just playing random content, right? That is not mapping, that is projection.
Which if it has nothing to do with
it is called mapping.
Yeah, if it has nothing to do with the structural aspect of it, if the content is not following the structure, the physical structure of the canvas, then it's projection. I mean, what's the big deal in it? It's a projector on a wall.
Teacher teaching a class on a projector is projector mapping then.
For a lot of people.
Then anything is projector mapping.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we hype it up way too much. It doesn't deserve all that hype.
Correct. So the next one is, which tech upgrade made you cry tears of joy?
Which tank upgrade?
Two, I would say. Wireless comms.
Okay.
We went from wired comms to wireless comms, and then you were suddenly mobile in a venue where before that you were just stuck at one place, or having like 5 feet here kind of a leeway, because extra cable choda hota hai. Then suddenly wireless comms aa gaye, and then you can be wherever in the room and still be connected to the team, talking, listening.
Is it that recent, is it? Yeah.
That recent, but it has happened in my phase of career.
A robust one is that recent, very recent.
Robust one, I mean, very robust one is very recent.
Yeah, very recent.
And it has a crazy use case, and we kind of juice it out quite a bit. But just the transition from having very limited quantities of wireless ones to wireless ones being available easily
Right.
is a big happy moment. And I think the other big one for me is just the media servers and the hardware switches that make. Otherwise, you would have gigantic LED screens and screens, but no content to play on. Like the
Either
painting-
distorted content or resized content.
the
but
painting on the canvas really comes from those media servers. So I mean, those two for me are I would cry kind of moment. But like
So for me, they were one thing is the ArrayCal and there are these softwares with all the particular brands of sound which gives you prediction of what is the decibel level that has been achieved throughout the venue, right? You plot your AutoCAD layout into the venue. Into this software, and depending on the height and the angle the speakers are placed in, it will give you an exact decibel, like a map of what is the sound dispersion in all over the venue.
You fine tune the.
So you fine tune the number of cabinets, the angle of the cabinets, the height of the cabinet.
or add in a delay or outfill or
Yeah,
whatever.
add more speakers or don't. So that's so the back in the days, all of this didn't exist, right? So you were always second guessing कि हाँ उधर sound सही जा रहा है या नहीं जा रहा है या चलो और चार
So the
speaker
person
लगा
used to
दो.
travel.
हाँ मतलब
You go
person
there.
used to go there and hear. But how is it time aligned to the main PA? या आपको delay में सुनाई दे रहा है? Are those two speakers firing at the same time, not sounding right or sounding right? Was always a on the site job to be tuned by the systems engineer. Wherein now you exactly know कि मेरे को जाके इस height पे, इस angle पे इतने speaker लगाने और उसके बाद मेरे को कुछ स्ट्रेस
No,
नहीं
but
लेना.
it has helped also. I think so. I
That
saw
will
your
help
post
the
on
overall
Coldplay
experience, right?
that you were up somewhere.
Yeah.
Where generally in the olden days, 10 years back, sound कभी पहुंचती.
पहुंचती ही नहीं थी, exactly.
And now you are saying that even at this
This
stage,
time I
this
was
level,
when I went to watch Ahmedabad Coldplay, I was literally as in absolutely last row in the stadium, which is the highest in the venue and the farthest from the stage.
From the stage, yeah.
So I should be the person having the most horrible sound experience.
Yeah,
in a way, right?
in a-
If I turn back, I can see the railing or the fence of the venue and the horizon, like that. But I had an amazing experience from an audio point of view and visual standpoint, beautiful because when the LED bands go, you can see the whole sea in front of you. And then we picked that seat.
Exactly.
With a bit of doubt कि अरे audio कैसा होगा. It was
Turned out
amazing.
amazing, yeah.
It was amazing.
That's the change that we've seen.
Yeah,
For sure.
So that is one, and second, I would say when it comes to stage designs, the use of Vectorworks and VisiVig, right? So these softwares that have enabled us to do everything to the T. Like you don't have to go on site and think कि ये light उधर लगेगी या नहीं, या ये LED उधर fit होएगी या नहीं, या ये truss उसका weight ले पाएगा या नहीं. That software from your office is pre-decides how much weight it knows. The library has all the details of all the vendors का, उनके पास कौन सा मेक का ट्रस है, कौन सी मेक की लाइट है, उनके शैकल्स का वेट क्या है, उनके मोटर का वेट क्या है. इट विल गिव यू दैट एंटायर कैलकुलेशन एंड ग्राउंड पे जाके वो प्रॉब्लम होनी ही नहीं है कि ये फिट नहीं हुआ है, ये लाइट नहीं लग पा रही है, एलईडी नहीं लग पा रही है. It is that software has made it very clear in your office कि अगर आपने इसको follow किया तो ये उस तरीके से वही होगा.
Nice.
I also think like VR, we haven't used it as much as it can be, but you can build an entire event space in VR and get your presenters to rehearse even before you got into the venue with your first set of truss going on. Like you can, if I have the plans sorted out, I can build an environment in VR. And if he's one of my speakers, put him on a headset and say,
So,
go around through.
just to tell you, matlab, our system has this entire capability right now. So, because the venue is there,
Right.
you can put all the setups in the venue, and that is on Oculus.
Right.
So, you can immediately go into the setup, walk through, and you can see how stage will look. You can see the stage presence also, okay?
Right.
When you're facing the audience. So, all those things are possible. We are also moving into that direction. Maybe someday that thing can happen.
Where maybe a presenter can actually be on stage and click through, right?
Yes.
तो फिर उसको on stage rehearsal की almost जरूरत
So to the extent that anything which is inside like a LED or a screen can have the running slides and images also.
Correct.
That is also inbuilt in our system.
Correct.
Though because we are building category, so we have to educate people have to, but our this thing is we've thought through very deep.
Amazing.
And things are slowly coming up. Yes. Next, what are the planning tools that you use for events? Maybe some of the softwares that you would like people to know so that they can explore in terms of planning, in terms of whatever work that you do. Any specific softwares that you use?
So for me, the softwares don't come for planning; they come for designing. That's where the softwares are generally used, which is either a WYSIWYG or I just forgot the Vectorworks. Yeah, it is Vectorworks or WYSIWYG. These are the two softwares that are majorly used when it comes for the tech planning and the build of the stages. Nowadays, what we've started using Vectorworks is also building your VIP structures, because the detailed drawings are needed to be submitted to the structural engineers who are eventually going to sign off कि हाँ ये आपने VIP का platform बनाया है, उसका ये size है, but उस पे कितने लोग जा सकते हैं? Like how many tickets for that platform can you actually sell? And how many is what is the total capacity of that, right? तो उसका per square feet का weight का load क्या है, वो किस material से बना है? So these are the only two softwares that come really handy to me in terms of planning our not planning our events but designing our stages as such, but or else it's still the traditional way for us at least, but for you it has gone way ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I do Vectorworks when there's technicalities involved. Do SketchUp just when fabricated pieces, custom built things are needed. And I depend a lot on this tool called Lucid Chart. Or another comparative alternate would be a Draw.io from Google. It's not an event technology app. It's literally an app that lets you draw a chart. But so what I now do is, instead of having the good old Excel checklist, right? A checklist will tell you how many mics are needed, how many laptop audio inputs are needed, how many desks are needed, how many projectors, all of that. But it doesn't tell you how are the video systems talking to the audio systems. It doesn't tell you how are the video systems sending signal to the camera systems. How are the camera systems sending inputs, outputs into the streaming systems. What a charting solution like Lucid Chart or Draw.io let you do is, you draw out all of these and also draw the links between the two. So now on top of the checklist, if you just send a checklist to the audio supplier and said, I need 4 handheld, 4 lapel, 4 headsets, he will already he can possibly think that I will bring a desk which is a 16 channel. क्योंकि मुझसे 4 और 4 माइक मांगे हैं, मतलब 12 चैनल ये इंसान यूज करेगा, उसके अलावा 2 लैपटॉप होंगे, एक आध कुछ और होगा, तो 16 चैनल में तो काम हो ही जाएगा. बट मैंने उसको ये नहीं बताया है चेकलिस्ट के through the checklist that I'm going to give you 2 main laptops, 2 backup laptops, 2 watch out, 2 backup watch out, a translation, something else.
Correct.
Now, if he brought in just a 16 channel mixer, he's going to run out of inputs on his desk. But if I drew all of that out on a Lucid Chart, then the audio guys will already know that apart from those 444 mics, the video department is going to send us so many lines of input. Correct. We are going to have so many lines of output to the camera crew, or the streaming guys, or the simultaneous language translation, or the EEG captioning, or some other random room in some venue, whatever. So then he can plan his life more holistically than saying, मैं तो 12 mic लेके जा रहा हूँ, बाकी बता देना मुझे साइड पे. वैसा नहीं करना.
Yeah.
So this visual, and this also helps you visually very quickly look at single points of failure.
Correct.
Without applying too much mind. Just visually आप देख लोगे कि ये line यहाँ से एक ही line जा रही है. If it fails, will my show come to a standstill? Yes, that means you need an alternate to it. So it's a very good visualization software that I super duper depend on.
So another thing, one piece of advice that you would like to give to the youngsters?
Take care of your health.
I was just you take care of your health. Make sure that you're not burning burning yourself physically, which I think at times I did not take care of.
None of
in the early days of life, we were like ripping our bodies out, like at work 24/7, not giving either working or partying or being out, or like not making sure that you're giving that right amount of time for yourself, and taking care of yourself is.
And we've learned this the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but to be very frank, the youngsters are becoming much more prompt on all these things.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because
Absolutely,
if you look at the way we are going back 2000, 3000 years back where things used to be the way it used to be, otherwise the saying that the mind, body, soul all needs to be cultivated together. That is where the youngsters are also going into that. For them, health is very important.
Very, very important.
What is going in the head is very important. And these are very
I had an intern with me a few months back who I made her sit in office till like 10 p.m. one night. And I was in office for till 12 every night that week. And the next day there was a mail written to HR that my mental health is at stake. Working in this company. And I was like, where is this coming from?
And you know what, Naveen, like, I'd also say that
It is the newer generation. I was like, bro, I never got to say this to my boss.
this might also be a good time to bust a myth, right? Generally, people think that if you are in the events business, especially on the agency side, you cannot take long vacations.
no.
I was in Viscraft 10 years. I have taken one vacation, 60 days long, 60 days in one shot.
Wow.
I have taken a couple of years later, 30 days in one shot. So all I'm trying to say is that if you are intentional about something and if you really want to make it happen, you can.
Yeah.
People need to understand आपके होने ना होने से फर्क नहीं
फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
The world does not stop if you are not there.
को overhype करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
So it is important that, like for example, matlab, he doesn't do that, but because his family is the first thing, but because there's no one at home, so what I do is I make sure that whenever I get time for 4 दिन मिले, either you can waste your time at home, see all those OTTs and all, or you go somewhere, explore, look at the world. The world is too many things to learn and understand, and that is what is important. काम चलता रहेगा. आप होगे तो भी चलेगा, नहीं होगे तो भी चलेगा.
To what you said, right? Like, and I'll tell you this about Meta. And when I learned about this, I was blown. In Meta, we have this concept called a recharge. So if you have had 5 years of continuous employment as a full-time employee at Meta, at the end of 5 years, you can take 30 days paid vacation, paid off. And it's of course to let you disconnect from work and do whatever you want to do and all of that. But it also, I think, has a underlying objective of testing what Naveen just said. Can Mihir's team function without Mihir if he's gone for a month? And this month off is not the off that we are all used to. Okay, off हूँ लेकिन मैं phone पे हूँ.
Exactly.
You will lose access to systems almost. You are gone.
No,
That
it's
one
important. It's important.
It tests the dynamics in the team and kind of figure out whether have you built redundancies in the team or you are the one man driving it. It shouldn't be like that. Because then, again, it becomes a 1-point failure.
Correct.
Main thing
I always feel that you're like as good as your last event also, right? Like no matter how many good events you've done in the past and your last event is fucked, people are only going to remember you as you fucked up at your last event.
But you know what? I have a different learning. And that is through phases only.
Yeah.
See, what you can offer, no one else can offer.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
और वो कहते हैं ना, जब तक रावण नहीं देखेगा तो राम की वैल्यू नहीं आएगी. तो लोगों को रावण देखने दो.
Very true.
We've experienced recently, मतलब this and that.
Yeah.
I know what I can do. I will do the best.
Correct.
The rest is all up to him. But if you want to see, go, see, come back.
Right.
And I've seen people coming back. Then they say, no, this.
Yeah, even I've experienced that in my life.
Okay, so let's have a small fun section. So I'll just ask some fun questions. Let's see if you can come up with answers. If you had to describe your career arc with movie titles, what would it be? I mean, you can have multiple movie titles like early, or maybe you can have one. Up to you.
I don't know, maybe like a Top Gun, Armageddon, you know, that kind
When
of.
it's too fancy.
इतना मारा मैं
It's too fancy. I will come with a very Bollywood name.
Bollywood. So my wife being a Parsi, I've never been able to watch Bollywood movies because I have to become a translator there. She doesn't understand Hindi that much.
It's okay. English is also good.
I don't know.
What about you?
Complexities.
What about you?
I would say Lagan.
Lagan.
Yeah, nice one.
any dialogue from it?
Not a dialogue, but like it's about team play.
It's about team.
It's about having self-belief when odds are against you. Using the limited resources that you have to make things work
Right.
and get the job done.
Nice. What about you?
मेरे लिए
बाउंसर वो गोली है ना, ये आता था
ये अच्छा लगा मुझे.
So mine is हलचल. Up down up down up down. हैं? What's yours?
I don't know यार, कभी सोचा ही नहीं. I'm not been into movies at all.
Suddenly hot seat आपने change करना है तो कहते
Post change हो गया. चलो let's go to next then.
What's the weirdest thing someone has asked you on a show day?
many, but I'll do one for now. We were at a outdoor show in Mumbai on a summer day. The event starts at 4 o'clock. It was a musical concert. Gates open at 2 o'clock. The show producer from the client side had come in from Canada to run the show. She goes on stage at 3:45 with the comms on and all set to go. At 4 o'clock, she says, "Let's go blackout."
4 p.m.
And of course, all the lights were turned down on the fader, but lights are off, but still there's bright. She's like, "Mihir, I need blackout.
Where do I get
I
it?
cannot give you blackout. This is the blackest black it can get." And she like, she was free. She didn't get it for a few seconds. Like, okay, we'll chat about it later. Let's focus on the show now. So okay, carry on. We'll chat about it later. No problem. But yeah, I remember that.
And you?
So for me, it wouldn't be funny, but it would be like unreal when we are again at a festival and gates are supposed to open like in a few hours. We are talking about 10 a.m. and the gates are supposed to open at like 3-4 p.m. in the afternoon. And the owner of the festival comes and he's standing on stage and he can see a VIP platform which must be at least 100 feet by 80 feet wide, 4 feet height. And he's like, "Yaar, isko utha ke na wahan se yahan kar dete hain." And he's gone. And I am not the production head of the to say a no or a yes at that time. And my production head at that time, "Yes sir, हो जाएगा." And like हो जाएगा और eventually करना तो हमें. But yeah, such requests.
But that happens a lot of time.
Yeah,
People
it
come.
does happen. Like
fully ready stages.
जो कि 5 दिन में बनी है, वो 15
नहीं, there was a,
घंटे में उठ के वहाँ
so there was a time 500,000 लोगों का शो था बैंगलोर में and the console was made on a stage and he said मुझे नहीं चाहिए, नीचे लाओ. अरे पूरा रिहर्सल के टाइम पे ही came and then we had to get it down and
नहीं, eventually वो आधा प्लेटफॉर्म हिला 5 घंटे में और कुछ नहीं हुआ. वो भी कैसे हुआ किसको ही नहीं पता.
Right. Okay, next one. During a show, what's the most insane place you have taken a power nap on?
I can't think of a place where I've napped during a show, but during rehearsals and sessions and all that, one of the most whacked out places I have taken a nap at is the top of Gateway of India.
oh
So there's actually you wouldn't know it
level.
as a tourist or somebody who's seen the monument that you can also go up. But there's actually an internal spiral staircase in one of the corners which you can take and go up all the way. And there's a full landing which is actually a full rectangle, so you can walk around that place. And you can see ocean on one side, you can see the Navy establishments on one side, and you can see the Taj on the other side. So while we were doing an event at Gateway in the afternoon or evening-ish, like सब लोग
that's a good
बात कर रहे हैं, but काम चल रहा है, time to go take a nap. Let's go here. This is like the luxurious, sweet view type.
What about you?
So for me, I would say back in the days, we were doing a corporate event at Racecourse, and there was Enclosure 1, Enclosure 2, Members Enclosure, all a part of the event. And there were some things happening at the Gallup's restaurant also. So all of the venues of Racecourse were taken. And it was like a 5-6 day, 7 day setup going on. And it was not during the event, but this was one day before the event. And I didn't get the time to go home and freshen up and sleep or anything. And I had gone on those stands of Enclosure 2. Those stands ke ekdam top pe jaake I just put a white chaddar on me because those colors of the steps were also white, so you just get camouflaged and not seen, right? So you've just figured to get one white it was not even a chaddar, it was a screen, right? That white color screen. वो ओढ़ के सो गए थे चुपचाप because the body had given up. It was like कि अगर अभी 4 घंटा नहीं सोएंगे तो कल काम ही नहीं कर पाएगा, कुछ हो ही नहीं पाएगा.
So
that
I also have a story, but मेरा weird space तो नहीं था because मैं show में होता ही नहीं तो सोऊंगा कैसे. So I don't go inside. But we were doing this Google का YouTube का brand cast था. डोम में हो रहा था बॉम्बे में. And we had our war room, which was जो जगह है उसके बगल में जो rooms है वहाँ पर we had our war room. तो मैं तो जाता नहीं अंदर शो में. तो शो वॉज अबाउट टू स्टार्ट और मैंने चेयर लगा के मैं आई वेंट टू स्लीप. सो पिक्चर्स दे क्लिक पिक्चर्स ऑल्सो, देयर इज अ रिकॉर्ड पे पिक्चर भी है. तो मैं वहाँ सो गया और जैसे ही शो चालू हुआ वो गौरव वॉज दी एमसी है, वो आवाजें चालू हुई और दिल लो भाई भाई ये तो शो, सो यू कैन नॉट हियर ऑल्सो. आई जस्ट गॉट अप, मैं ऑटो में बैठा, हाजी अली गया, वहाँ आइसक्रीम खाई, 2 घंटे बैठा, शो खत्म हुआ, फोन आया, फिर मैं वापस आया.
And what's the funniest miscommunication that has happened within the team and probably led to a chaotic situation?
I have a really good one for this.
Let's start with you then. Yeah.
So we were again at some award function happening, and the finale award has been given out, and the cue for the pyros was "Chhod do." Like at that time "Chhod do." और वो हुआ कि जब क्यू जाना था वो तो हुआ ही नहीं, उसने 3-4 बार बटन दबाया और वो गया ही नहीं. तो इवेंचुअली द क्यू दैट केम फ्रॉम बैक स्टेज लाइक डोंट डू इट नाउ, छोड़ दो. उसने वो छोड़ दो सुना और इवेंट खत्म होने के 3 मिनट बाद तब सब जा चुका. He thought fireworks छोड़ दो and the cue was छोड़ दो अब मत करो basically.
That was so fun.
तो इवेंट पूरा खत्म हो गया, पब्लिक बाहर जा रही, 3 मिनट बाद सडनली
I've had a few where the setup or the event is supposed to be at Grand Hyatt, and all of the stuff has reached Hyatt Regency. I also had a scene where instead of ITC Maratha Sheraton, people landed at ITC Grand Central. So that has happened, but recoverable issues. Yeah.
But I have a last question. Have you ever thought about mentoring people? Mentorship? What are your thoughts on it? Because
I have tried.
so much of intelligence which needs
I have
to go
tried,
down.
but I just feel that I'm not good at it. I've tried.
No, that's
to
okay. Then you need to
break
hire
down.
someone or partner someone who's good at it.
Yeah.
So your information can be transferred.
Translated, yeah.
It's only the medium which is required, right?
Yeah.
But if the intelligence can be transferred to people,
Absolutely,
that's the biggest service that you guys can do.
I've tried for many years, and I do it with a lot of passion. I don't know whether I'm good at it or not. That's for the mentees to decide.
Yeah.
But I feel very passionate about that domain. So I do a lot of school, college engagement type of things. I'd love to expand that horizon and go wider, go bigger, broader, whatever. Would love any and all opportunities in there.
I think so. It's a thing that we should work on also.
Yeah.
Maybe we can create a series of 12 episodes and do a masterclass on one segment each.
Correct.
And let people see and understand. And the country is big. The people are many people who needs to learn also.
I remember during COVID,
Yeah.
I had done a few sessions, online sessions with case studies of concerts that I've done, and I presented it to EMDI students on how the entire event was executed and planned on ground, to papers, to closing the entire event. That whole journey was done.
Correct.
I have
So,
a few case studies.
I think so. This is the right time, because if we are saying that in the next 20-25 years, the Indian economy is going to be multiplied. There are a lot of people, and the live events industry is also, booming. So there are a lot of people who will come into the system, and if they are not taught the right way to do things, then it might not end up into being how it should be.
It should be, yeah, absolutely. That's
Your
right.
accidental entry into events should not be should not be the norm anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it. Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely talking.
Amazing chat.
Great learning. I think for me it was this.
And for me also, I thought I knew everything, but still.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Great
you
one.
so much.
Thank you.